Welcome everybody. This is No Bullshit Gaming Podcast 2.5 Gamer session number 29. 29. So we are discussing latest news, having fun, and dropping knowledge. But let's not forget. This is 4 a.m. conference discussion vibe. So let's not take it too seriously. And now one conference ended. So how was Gamescom, Mr. Felix and Jakub?
I mean, I had plenty of
Also-
4 a.m. conference discussion vibes.
There
A
you
lot
go.
of gossip. I'm going to share some of that gossip on this very
Yeah.
podcast as well.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
We did miss you though, man. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Family duty.
Yeah.
So, family is always more important than conferences.
But the venue was a little bit, let's say, less pompous.
Less pompous.
I mean,
Okay, what does
I
it
was just
mean?
fascinated that Stillfront
Okay.
had a bigger
There were
booth
big-
than pretty much Google, Amazon, and yeah, like the biggest booth I saw was Stillfront.
Nice. Well, why not? But yeah,
Yeah, but there were very big names missing, like PlayStation, Wargaming, Blizzard, completely zero presence, basically.
well, I guess. Look, so before Gamescom even started, I received a lot of messages about like people not coming there because it doesn't make any sense for whatever reason. I mean, I wanted to come just because it was like the biggest conference in Europe, and actually everybody I talked to was coming. So I'm not sure like where the I'm not coming because nobody's coming actually came from, but but I guess like all these big companies just save the money and maybe just going to be in a different conference. Yeah,
We'll see.
we're going to talk about these rumors from Gamescom, what's happening at the moment with Mintegral, some news around the new Google gameplay games on PC, which means basically fuck off BlueStacks, I guess. Then I'm going to do a quick update on iOS tROAS, and then Felix as well update on Bidder because he was already like jumping 3 meters from the ground and is working super well. And we're going to talk about how to scale a mobile game because from the discussion I had, scaling means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So I think we can start this discussion from our point of view, and then maybe we will continue on some other sessions as well. So yeah, I guess I skipped the intro, and we have Felix Braberg here, Jakub Remjar, and myself, Matej Lančarič, and we are really happy to kick it off. So, what the fuck happened during the Gamescom?
Oh,
Talk to me. Talk to me.
So pretty much, like any good Admon person, we spend the whole time at Gamescom sitting in front of the class with the rest of the nerds, and we gossip.
Class or glass?
Class and glass, both thing, right? So we sit up front, and the Admon people that I know, we sit up there and we gossip. Who's working and who's not working? Which ad network is doing this? Which ad network is doing that? And the outstanding kind of thing that was the big takeaway from this is that Amazon is up to really interesting things in the ad monetization space. So they have an ad network. They had this big monopolistic, stupid rule in place before that you can only use Amazon as a demand source if your game is not built in Unity, which is pretty much every game that's built in Unity. So before now, essentially you couldn't run it if your game was built in Unity, but apparently now Amazon has allowed you to be whitelisted with a big caveat that it takes about 2-3 months to become whitelisted. So, better than nothing, but actually you can do it. So Amazon ads grew 18% last quarter, which makes it the fastest growing ad network currently out of these big mega caps. And they're actually might even be bigger than TikTok, but that's not public. So I don't know how much that is growing. So from some unnamed ad monetization manager sources, it's banners that really works on the Amazon network, and they don't yet have any real fill on rewarded or interstitials. And mainly what you're getting here is first party demand from Amazon. So that's e-commerce on Amazon, which is nice because it would be super nice to get another source that would be competing with games as well on kind of performance. And what I'm hearing is that the Amazon, it's a bidder, but they actually have a separate auction outside of the mediation platforms they're currently on. So it's quite interesting. I'm not sure exactly how that will work with the Max mediation stack
Hmm.
or Iron Source or anyone else for that matter. But yeah, apparently it
Okay,
sounds really good.
let's pause here.
Yeah.
So I remember running Amazon UA campaigns back in days. It was one option which was a Kindle Fire wake screen, so you actually show your video or static image when you unlocked your Kindle device. But then I remember they had this ad network you're talking about, and it was really like very limited inventory, but it was really good quality as well. So if that's growing like hell, I'm looking forward to it actually. It was very good. It's very good. It's surprisingly good in US. Obviously, other countries are not that big in terms of the inventory. Then I think they opened up UK, Germany, France, but UK, US was still the biggest country. Okay, well,
Yeah. I mean, we're still reeling a bit from the loss of, Facebook, right? Or Meta. So, yeah, it'd be
mhm.
good to get another one.
Well, there is
Uh,
another rumor that Amazon is buying EA, right? So just
yeah, I mean, it does
flying
really
around
sound
these
like a
days.
rumor. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, should we talk about that now? Because it kind of is a nice segue, or yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah, I
Remo
know.
has a stern opinion on this.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah. Remo already said.
you want to start? Because I know you want this to be true because you've said on this podcast
As
many times.
usual, I said it like, yeah, yeah. I think it would make like a good option for them because Amazon is pretty much like failing a lot at making the game themselves, and this would pretty much give them a nice way out where they actually buy a like complete product. So my guess is it's just a matter of time until this consolidation hit. Even though like I think it was already denied by CNBC
I
or
think like a
a
half
kind of
of the
Bloomberg
industry
person,
denied it already.
but I guess it will happen anyway, even if this is not true currently.
And
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
if I didn't know you
But it
actually,
makes a lot of
Jakub,
sense.
I would say you partied pretty hard during the Gamescom, but I know you don't drink alcohol, so I
Yeah,
don't
listen
get
to that
where.
voice. He's never
Yeah,
had
yeah,
this sexy, deep voice ever
yeah.
before. So yeah,
Got COVID or what? What the fuck's happening?
Because parties works really great. Like you need to talk to people that you meet during loud music and everything, and you're supposed to talk there. It's like the best talking environment. I don't know who invented this shit.
Well,
it's fun.
it's fun. Exactly, it's fun, and you apparently are not used to like talking aloud. The alcohol actually helps. Although I usually have sore throat after all these all
No
these.
shit.
yeah,
But actually, yeah, the thing is, like, I apparently got COVID like a week before my wife. So, but I thought it's just like a festival, usual bullshit afterwards. I got a little bit tired and sore throat for one day. It's like, yeah, well, fuck it. And now
I think this is
I'm
Remo's time. Like I think
yeah,
it's his
I
time.
guess so,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's been my time
Uh,
4 times, so it's just like fucking fair that he has
yeah,
one
don't worry, man.
time.
It's twice for me already. So there you go. I mean, it's like catching Pokemons. I
yeah,
think.
exactly. Right.
Different, yeah. You just catch different variants.
Should
I'm making the test
yeah,
tomorrow. Let's
That's
see.
that's too soon, Ben.
yeah.
Don't worry.
Should let me do
Yeah,
my
let's yeah, let's continue. Let's
yeah. Let's
continue.
continue. Let's move on to a little current event. So
Yeah,
if you currently are working with Mintegral, yesterday on iOS LAT bidding, you will have noticed a massive, absolute killer of a spike. So I'm
yeah.
hearing from people that is spiked about 80 to 102% in terms of revenue for different people. And if you're thinking that Mintegral is the network that has finally cracked the nuts of LAT bidding on iOS, just before you do open your bottle of champagne for the weekend, it was announced today that it was due to a tech issue that caused
Oof.
a bunch of overbids. So banners were apparently more affected than interstitials and rewarded videos. So if you're actually monetizing with Mintegral right now, this is what you should expect. So having worked in DSPs and ad networks in my days, I have seen this happen many times. So when you're actually working in an ad network or a DSP, you actually usually have a monthly target that you need to hit or be around, right? So this means that you can expect over the next couple of days performance to go down about by the equal amount that it went up. So over a 30-day like stretch of time, it will be roughly the same as it always is. And usually there's some tech people that get punched or let go. So that's what
Nice.
happens.
All right. So Google Play Games opens up outside of the US, and this is apparently their client on the PC, and they're testing markets which include Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Thailand, and Australia. And it's starting today. Those countries will be able to register for open beta for Google Play Games on their PC. So this is a catalog of games restricted to Chromebooks and other Android-enabled devices, which is going to be available to run on PC as a native app. So this is a very big middle finger to BlueStacks, which is exactly the same and operates on the PC where you can play Android games or Google Play games. So there will be actually 50 games at launch. This includes titles like Summoner's War, Cookie Run Kingdom, Last Fortress Underground, and Top War. So pretty nice player base of for these games. So what do you think, Jakub? Is it going to definitely kill the emulators like BlueStacks or Nox?
I w- I would say it will also depend how much functionality they have, because don't forget that BlueStack has a lot of these like nitty gritty things added on top of it, like just how much you can customize the controls and everything, and like you can instance it and play like
Hmm.
20 BlueStacks windows at once, which is really
Yeah.
really
Okay.
handy. Like I always like played like 2 or 3 mobile games at once, so don't know if they are. For instance, just the
Hmm.
multi-client functionality is really great. Then the other thing is, I'm kind of curious if, because BlueStacks is
Yeah.
basically an ad network in a way that you can throw ads in it. I guess is what this won't be the
Well,
case. So
from
those
start, I
like
guess
icons popping up on your screen on BlueStacks, which are pretty
yeah,
much
from the start, I guess no, but then they will definitely, yeah,
maybe
they will
later.
definitely open up for ads because this is another revenue stream for them. So why wouldn't they do exactly the same as BlueStack does? It
Mm.
just makes so much sense.
Yeah. Then the other thing is that not like, at least for me, when I try to run some games through BlueStacks, they not
Yeah.
always went through in a way that like even though they installed, they didn't run. So I'm really curious if, let's say, any game could be run on this, because a lot of games are just nice to have to be running in the background on that other screen on PC when you're playing them. That's like normal things how some mobile games are played. So my guess is, yeah, it will also depend on how much features they can push in compared to BlueStacks itself, because BlueStack has a lot of features regarding just the custom stuff,
Hmm.
macros, and everything that you can customize there, which is super handy.
Yeah, and it's a good point that I couldn't run actually a lot of games on BlueStacks, like any of the Supercell games, I couldn't run on BlueStacks, and I don't have Android, and I didn't want to buy Android device only for playing Supercell games, and there's like all other games that were not able to run. Okay, well, I assume this is going to be exactly the place where you could run it because it's Android. It's not emulator. It's actually Android native app on Facebook. Uh, fuck Facebook PC.
Why are you lying? That's not true.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
on PC.
PC. Yeah,
Well, actually, I'm starting to have the voice
yeah.
like
But
this,
I'm
like
really,
you.
really kind of curious
Yeah.
about their
Well, we'll see.
functionality.
We'll see what happens. But it opens up for these countries. I'm pretty sure that until it happens in Slovakia, it's gonna be worldwide release, which is going to be. Well, we'll see when. But yeah, okay. So iOS tROAS update finally getting some interesting numbers. So far so good. It still fluctuates a lot, but I can see some potential already on some accounts. I stuck to the good old Android UAC simplified structure and launched only worldwide campaign on iOS on one account. And then I tried to run a US campaign on the other account. So far, the worldwide is performing like shit, while the US on the other account is performing great. Which makes sense because US is a very good country, and if you run worldwide, you can get pretty low or like tier 4 geos. But there is a big but. For Android campaigns, the worldwide tROAS campaign is actually performing always the best, thanks to the low CPIs from these like tier 3, tier 4 countries, and the high amount of data you can get from all these countries around the world. So you are actually meeting the event threshold, which means you need to get at least like 50 events in the last 7 days to be able to get enough data to optimize and all this black boxy bullshit. But it actually works. So I would expect the same is happening for iOS, but I guess I need to rely on a very different geomix because this is not how it works on iOS. So now, uh, again, two accounts, two different stories. So I'm really happy that I can compare different accounts. I mean, I'm comparing it on my side on the backend, not sharing any data with anyone. But I need to. I just want to run tier 1 geos campaign, one purchase optimized and one tROAS optimized, so against each other to compare the results. So I mean, it's not the exact A/B test, but as close as I can get. The only thing I'm worried about is a cannibalization, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna see the numbers very quickly and rule out any cannibalization. So if you can get whitelisted on the tROAS for iOS, do it as soon as you can and start experimenting because more data the better, and you will be prepared for the scaling up afterwards. So yeah, that's it from the tROAS side. Any Admob bidder update?
Of course. Yeah. So this episode is quickly turning into this week of Google products.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've been hearing some Google guys complaining about my attitude towards Google. Guys, I love you. I Google is the best performing channel for me on a lot of games. But if something doesn't work, I will say it out loud.
I mean that's true. Google, we love you guys, but Maciej was about to name his child Google instead of Katarina. So,
Yeah,
really close, and then
very close.
yeah, and then the campaign started going to shit, and then that's why.
Yeah. It's always
All right.
how it goes.
So, Admob bidder update on Max. So last week, I was over the moon, and it was great. And now I've moved most apps have moved now to a 50% rollout, except on LAT because it's still looking really bad. But the results have started to look a bit more realistic. So 16, and even in one case, I had 189% uplift on one thing for a day. Like, it's not realistic. It's a bit too much of a win. So right now, LAT waterfalls on A/B test on iOS still down left like 5 to 7%. They probably will be deprecated probably after this podcast, even because it's not performing yet. iOS
Yeah.
IDFA have settled into a nice groove of between a 1.8 to 7% uplift on a 50% rollout on day 10 of 14 days. So Monday is when we have to make a decision on which to roll out. And Android has actually dropped down on a 50% rollout after day 10 to a sensible yet nice 2 to 3.5% uplift.
Mm.
So it seems a bit like your end as well, Matthew, what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
it does fluctuate quite a bit. But it's a closed beta, right? So that's very much to be expected. And the bidder does seem like it works very similar to the Google Admob placements, that it really forces Phil for 2 to 3 days to test out the game's inventory, exactly like the Admob places
Mm.
do. So it's built very similar. Keep in mind that all the data I'm saying it's a rewarded video only, and it's with a geo mix of America taking up about 80%. So the benefits of being at Gamescom is that I got invited to the Google booth to have a chat with some nice, lovely AdMob people about the bidder. They serve juice and coffee and were very friendly. And I asked also about how long we're going to be able to keep this hybrid setup because, that's nice of them. And
Yeah.
they were pretty adamant that we'll be allowed to use this dual setup at least for a couple of more quarters, which I took to
Mm,
mean for about this time next year is when they're going to start, dropping off the placement. So that's
okay.
good. Very happy about that. I'll, tip my cap to that. Thank you. So I also asked them about their thoughts. How come the Google bidder is coming in at around a 50% lower ECPM on bidding compared to placements? And they confirm that that's exactly what they're expecting to see
Mm,
because Admob tends to bundle up your placements at a very high price point. So it only makes sense that the bidder will take up considerable amount of fill at lower price points where the
mm.
Google bidder is not bidding. I
Yeah, I
did meet
hope
some
this
product
is.
people as well, but they couldn't really tell me that much because, they know I have a podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Really hope these information are true and not we're not gonna get any like lawsuit threats again. So
Yeah, I mean, it's happened
yeah,
twice, right? So, third time lucky. It has to be a third time.
yeah. I hope there won't be, but you never know. You never know. You never
Yeah.
know. Okay, so
If you've built a mobile game for iOS or Android, you've experienced user churn. You can win those users back, but it's getting more and more expensive, even more so to acquire totally new users. Enter cross promotion with Addictive. By identifying your users likely to churn early, you can showcase another game in your portfolio before they leave forever, transforming a lost user into a new user, increasing your revenues. Learn more now at addictive.com.
let's actually discuss how to scale a game. So I have some notes and whatnot, but I just want to ask you first because as I said at the beginning, there's the scale means or scaling a game means a lot of different things for different people. So what does actually scale mean to you, and what is actually scale in your eyes? Jakub, let's start with you because you also have a very interesting opinion on this. Not only me.
I really like this question when I was asking it like a lot of other teams.
Mm.
In a way, like, yeah, we want to scale the game, and like, can you at least tell me a number? And it sometimes went like, make a lot of money, like 20 million, 10 million. And then like, oh, no, no, it could be like, we're okay with like 500K a month or something like that. So
Or
there's
best answer
completely
is
different scenarios in the end.
scale as much as possible. Yes.
Yeah, that's even
What's
better.
wrong? What's wrong with that? Like, no, like, come on. I'm in
So
the salt
yeah,
mine making ads. What's wrong with that? Like, scale it as much as possible. What's wrong with that?
scaling as
Nothing.
much as possible is not that big of a problem. The problem is that there needs to be expectation management, because scale as much as possible could be like 5K a day, and
Yeah.
that's it. That's the that's the possible part.
Yeah, that's the thing because if you say scale as much as
So
possible, nobody knows what to expect. And usually I expect from the numbers that I see, I expect like Jakub's like 5K a day, but the other part or the other side expects like 400,000 a day, which is quite a very different number. Yeah, sorry, continue, Jakub. Yeah.
yeah, I would say it's also a matter of like, how do you want to even get to that scale? Because sometimes games just push really really hard right from the start. Like global UA is so massive that everything just go up, and then you have the unfortunate shark fin, as we talked before, which means that you very soon figures out that like this is not scalable and you're losing money and pretty much pouring them down the drain. So sometimes games scale this way, sometimes games scale the other way around, meaning that they'll scale from really really low volume to really really big volume, and it's pretty much like a hockey stick graph. The other thing is that sometimes big updates or like big features being added into the game enables you to
Mm.
scale. For instance, if you look at the Clash of Clans chart, like from the beginning, when they added actual clan wars, you can see how it did
Mhm.
scale, because that's like what enables your LTV and like changes fundamentally the CPI LTV formula. And that's also like a game of levers, that when you're pushing really really hard on the UA side, making new creatives all the time, optimizing, doing this, doing that, that's great. But you can even kill yourself. It wouldn't make any sense if the other way of the equation is doing nothing, and the product is, yeah, the product is great, but don't have any new content, any new live ops, anything. So it's this kind of a game of levers, and you need to put your capacity into right utility ratio, I would say. That you're not only
Yeah,
doing the outside part of the equation, which is the marketing CPI, but also the inside out, which is the product with the LTV.
yeah, but that's always like a very tough discussion to have, and also, but you need to have that discussion always. That's why I ask about the roadmap and like new features and when they're going to be implemented in the game, because we can have a certain baseline of spend, let's say 3,000 a day, and uh, and basically that's it. And I'm squeezing the fuck of it. But if there is nothing from the other side of the equation coming into the game, or any live ops, any special offers, any content, anything basically that can help, it's pretty hard to grow from 3K to even like 3,500, because there's nothing uh, to rely on. But as you mentioned, from my point of view, and I always say that, and even though I'm the UA guy, it's just scaling in game is not only a function of UA. It's just it's all about the CPI versus the LTV equation. Or well, depends also on when do you want to see your money back, uh, and what if you are comfortable to get your money back in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or 1 year. Also, what comes into this equation obviously is the long-term retention. If you have like 1% day 30, it doesn't make any sense to aim for payback period of 1 year. Oh well, you can do that, but you will never get that money back in 1 year, maybe in 10 years. Maybe in 10 years. Yeah, so in my book,
Yeah, yeah. But
the
we have
yeah,
we have a
go on.
yeah. I just wanted to mention. Sorry, the internet is not really fast here,
Yeah, no worries.
but we have a lot of experience with even low retention games where the profile still works in a way that
Yeah.
even though the CPI LTV formula could, like, from the surface level, could look really shitty, but it still makes money, and you can adjust to a really really comfortable scale of something like 1.5 2 million a month, which probably most of studios would really like. But if I would tell you that, oh, that game has 20% day one retention, like, yeah, fuck no, let's kill it.
Yeah, but then you need to say you need to tell the listeners that day one is 20, but day 60 is say 6% or 8%, which is a very different story. So, and if you have loads of content in that game and you are pushing out the content every month, or well, every week even, to keep your players engaged and paying, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's more of a, as I said, like, there's different profiles, and by the way, there are games that just work because they already kind of taught the algorithm, and the UA is pretty much for free. Like, even this thing still works on the market. So just
UA
saying.
for free. If you mean these like organic wonders,
Like the two games that have done
like
the
the
organic wonders, Hill Climb
yeah,
Racing and Subway Surfers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Then of course. But yeah, so I wanted to say, just you can scale your budget until the LTV allows you to do so, because LTV always dictates the scale. You can spend profitably 10,000 a day and get the money back in 90 days. But if you want to get back the money in like 30 days, the scale will drop quite significantly, because you are looking at the shorter period of time. And also, if you opens up spend and scale, It means that you are trying to widen a little bit your audience, which means that you are just prolonging the payback period as well. So, for example, if your LTV is $5, you can run profitable campaigns until you hit the CPI, which is like $4.5, or any other CPI that you can calculate based on your margins. And this is like super simplified because, as I said, like you need to take into consideration the payback period of your campaigns. That's like very crucial part of the whole equation. So if your day 30 LTV is $5, you can buy players for 4.5 and get profitable campaigns in 30 days. If your day 60 or day 90 is LTV is $5, then you can do the 4.5 CPI as well, but the scale will be significantly lower. But yeah, I think let's unpack this a little bit and discuss like how it actually looks like from the UA point of view, because you mentioned it previous or earlier, Jakub. You can do all this creative optimization, blah blah blah. Yes, creative optimization is a very big part of the whole scaling business, and not only scaling business but the UA business. But it won't allow, it won't open up like
Fake ads.
I, your favorite fake ads, your favorite fake ads.
Thought we said you
Fake
couldn't
ads.
say fake ads on the podcast for at least another 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's coming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's for sure. But yeah, it's a very big part of the UA of other games, and some games that have really high CPIs, they can decrease the CPIs by running fake ads. That's how the market looks like at the moment, unfortunately, but we don't know like how long it's going to take. There is going to be some other iteration of the fake ads, but yeah, let's not go there. So creative optimization can definitely help you, but it won't increase your spend by 100%. There are like different elements of the UA operations that can help, like channel diversification, and I guess I'm going to be banned for channel diversification as well, because I'm saying it always. So you need to diversify the UA because what can happen is that you will hit the ceiling on one channel, which for example is Facebook, and you can spend profitably 50K a month. And then you open up Google and you find out, okay, so I can spend profitably 50K again. So it's 100,000 already. You open up another like four channels, then you will find, or five channels, you will find out you can spend profitably like 20K only on each channel. But if you combine all of these, suddenly you have 200,000 a month, and you're running it profitably. Of course, like this is going to take a lot of your time and resources, because like managing six channels profitably, it's not an easy job, but that's how we roll on the UA side. Again, it will be like a very big portion of your scaling business, but you won't be able to do it or like scale like by hundreds of percent, just step by step. It's a part. And then these days there is a lot of discussion about the iOS 14 campaigns and all this ATT bullshit. We had a podcast with Niels and Kate very recently, so you can go and check it out about ATT and how it's not actually any apocalypse. Because I'm running pretty profitable campaigns on the iOS side as well. It just sometimes you need to think outside of the box, which is a very interesting buzzword, but not to be scared about running the campaigns. Well, I don't want to say blindly, but I would just want to say in the blended evaluation point of view, because you are running campaigns, you are getting some baseline in terms of the revenues on iOS, and if you start scaling it up or growing the budget step by step, adding one channel at a time, you will be able to see the delta between the baseline and the well, let's say the new baseline that you will see after you start one channel. And then again, you're starting to stack up the iOS channels and diversify, and try to think about how the blended ROAS works. If you have a data team, you can work with LTV predictions, which is possible on the iOS side. And if you have a bigger or well more senior data team, you can also work on the media mix modeling and try to think and see how it actually works, what changes actually affect the whole baseline of the revenue. So those are like some of the things. I have a couple of more things, but let's I will
Wait.
give
Can I ask
yeah,
the blonde
yeah,
question of the week?
yeah,
ASO. I'm just
yeah.
wondering, like, how much can you actually improve there if you do ASO? Like, is it 10%, 20%, or like how much can you actually unlock there of extra spend? Because I spend a lot of this Gamescom speaking to some people from different ASO companies, and I'm just like, what can you actually do? Like, how big is it?
Yeah, it's I most probably won't give you any specific number, but if I had to, I would say again like 10 to 15, 20% on the ASO side, because you can really improve the conversion rate even on the UA side, but also on the store by running store asset testing, all these like screenshots, icons, because that's something that is really visible at like the first sight for the players. But what is really important, and this also goes back to fake ads a little bit, but you need to create a seamless like expectation flow. So players see an ad in some visual design, they land in the store, and they see something else, very different expectations. So they just drop off immediately. But if you create like a very similar visual design on the creative side, on the store as well, and then in the game, that is actually the win-win scenario, because you're creating really nice expectations. And that's why some of the fake ads don't work, and some of the game like fake ads are actually implemented in the store, and then they're implemented even in the tutorial of the game. So it's I now remember the game called Mighty Party, which is a 3D CGI, absolutely stunning graphics, but they actually ran really big fake ads with green tower defensey type of bullshit. They put it in the first two screenshots because those are the most important screenshots, and they even put that fake ad before you start the tutorial. So you create like the seamless flow of like fake seamless flow. But apparently that works, because they could scale quite rapidly when I was checking it in Sensor Tower. So, and then like I was checking the comments on the or reviews in the store, like, hey, why the fuck is there like this green tower defense before the actual gameplay? The gameplay looks amazing, but what is this bullshit? But those guys don't understand like how the fake ads work. So yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Man,
Yeah, I
that's
would
hilarious.
say it also is a matter of your benchmarks. If you are really under your benchmarks, of course you can improve it as such as this kind of low hanging fruit. But if you are, hitting some kind of 5% over the top or like under average, I don't think so. It's that big of an uplift. If you are like up to standard in a way, like
Mm.
no magic trick, definitely.
Yeah, but the thing is like on the ASO side, it needs to be like a always on testing, because also like there is a seasonality, and if you run one icon test and let's say the icon 2 wins, you can run it again in 1 month, and then like the icon 2 that was a winner, now it's a loser, because well, traffic changes, seasonality, whatever else, it's just kind of like influences the overall conversion rate. So you need to run these tests like continuously. But good question.
Yeah.
It's definitely part of of all of these like UA scaling business. And I'm gonna finish up with one last thing that I have on my mind, and then I will leave you and comment on all of this, because there's one important part, which is the campaign optimization, diversification again. But it's important to know how you can actually optimize those campaign types, because if you, let's say, have a like 50-50 split between in-app purchases and in-app ads, you can run almost all of the campaign types and run it very profitably, and just try to mix and match. So, for example, on Android, running a purchase campaigns plus value optimized campaigns and address campaigns can create a very healthy mix of, well, let's say address very short period payback period, purchase and value definitely going to get you a lot of high quality players that can actually produce a lot of ad revenues as well. And on iOS, if you know how to operate on iOS UA field, you can run value optimized campaigns and purchase optimized campaigns plus address some on some ad networks. So again, you can create a lot of different campaign types and scale on all of these, because it's not that easy. If you have only, let's say, address campaign, you won't get that scale as if you have all of these options. So yeah, simplified, but even if all of this is happening and it's super hard work, you can help, or it can help you improve the numbers overall, maybe just like what, like 20%, if you connect all the dots. That's full stop. It's not going to get you to from 5k to 20k a day. It's just not going to happen. You need the LTV support, and you need to support on the monetization side from the ads as well, right?
Wait, yes.
Yeah.
So what is there to say about ads? So I've never worked with hyper casual. Obviously, ads there are super important, and you need ads for hyper casual. So I work more on everything non-related to hyper casual. So everything in my point of view here is kind of just related to non-hyper casual. So right now, the belle of the ball and the queen, and the best thing you can get, highest ECPM, is still rewarded videos. They are typically twice, like pay out twice as high ECPM as interstitials. So a good starting point that doesn't upset your user base is starting to make optimizations around rewarded video. What does that mean? That doesn't mean you slap it on later on. It means you basically integrate it into your core gameplay. Idle genre, typically what you want to see is 8 to 10 impressions per DAU on rewarded. So non-idle, like a good one to aim for is 4 to 5. That's quite good if you're able to hit that. And an ad view array, you want to at least that to be somewhere between 45 to 75. So that means that that portion of users actually interact with the ads every day. If you're able to hit that benchmark in any kind of genre that's not hyper casual, that means that users are kind of accepting your ads in the game, and you should be able to scale. If you're not getting impressions per DAU on rewarded above 4, they won't add that much to your bottom line, and they won't be helpful
Mm.
at all. So that is kind of the benchmarks for hitting scale or to actually helping it. Because if we think about it, ads is, you know, the third little pillar of
Yeah.
monetization. It can help, but it's like it can't make or break your game, right? You need monetization, you need IAPs, and that will be what allows your LTV to increase enough for it to be actually meaningful. So
Yeah.
I'm probably like the most, useless thing here. It's still important, but not as
Good.
important as
You're
game
definitely
design
not
and UA.
useless. It's actually pretty important, because if you have 50-50, even if you have like 40-60 towards IIP, it's a very big portion of the revenue, and you and your optimizations can help me to scale on the other side of
Yeah.
things. And usually these campaigns are way cheaper than the purchase and value campaigns, so it gets more volume, which creates more, let's say, organic uplift as well, and it's just like a snowball effect afterwards.
Yeah. So kind of what you want to do with rewarded is you want to test it early, and like don't be afraid. Like users these days are kind of used to watching rewarded ads. You'll get the least amount of backlash from rewarded ads, even
Yeah.
zero backlash. If you're still not earning enough ad revenue at the end of that, that's when you want to test interstitials. Banners as well, they also screw up with your retention. So yeah, it's kind of a last resort. And you usually want to starting adding interstitials kind of on non-purchasers after a certain time period. Usually I recommend starting to add interstitials around day 6 or day 7
Mm.
after the users, and seeing basically and then slowly moving it back in A/B tests to see if you can kind of keep the same retention. So that's the most important thing. some interesting things now I want to test out on some games. These splash ads, where basically when you come back to the game and it's remained open, that you show like an ad on 70% of the screen. I think that's like a bit less intrusive than an interstitial coming up at a random point. Just don't know if Google's going to be
Yeah,
outlawing it or
well,
not. That's the thing, right?
that's very gray area, I
Very
would say.
gray currently. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can operate on the slippery slope, it's fine.
Exactly.
That's when and where you make money, I would say.
Exactly. But the most important thing is here to test. As long as you're in between the delta of 4 rewarded impressions to even like 14 per session, I'd say that's where you want to be. That's the Goldilocks zone. And like if you're hitting 1 or 2, that means that you're not using the rewarded placement in a good enough way, because users these days are used to watching a lot of ads because they're getting the game for free.
There you go. So what I'm hearing is improvements on the ad monetization side, game design side, and UA side means scale. There you go. You can call us. You can call us anytime. And with that in mind,
Easy.
easy. Thank you very much for being with us, listening, and we really appreciate all the feedback you are sending. It's mostly positive, so even if there is anything negative, please share. We will talk about it and then move on.
Yeah.
Okay, jokes aside, thank you very much. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.